Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. This is a November garden tour. This is the transition time here in Raleigh, North Carolina, Zone 7B. Actually supposed to have a frost possibly here in the next couple of days, and so very rapidly transitioning from all of the summer color that you guys have seen out here. If you haven't seen how much color there was here all summer long, I'll link a video up here in the corner for that. But again, all that stuff's coming out of the ground, and new winter, the winter garden is taking shape. Over here to the right of the camera, I put up a video planting those snapdragons, and some pansies have been planted around them since then. There's actually some lantana there that's dormant that will come back next spring and summer and take that area back over, but that should be very colorful this winter. This was another video that went up transitioning this, what was a big beautiful annual bed, over to pansies. Bulbs are going to be planted here, and they're actually thousands, probably 2,000 bulbs going into this landscape here in the next month or two, and I'll be putting videos up for that. The big difference going into this winter versus last winter, this landscape is now, coming up on 2 years, but this front garden space only about 18 months. And the difference, last winter, I didn't have a lot of the structure. I didn't have things like this Sclera in the landscape, and I didn't have these Miss Lemon Abelia and some of the shrubs that you see now, that a lot of the colors come out. And last year when the color came out, there was nothing. So now the garden's got some winter, like I say, it's got some winter structure. I'm going to go around to the front entry into the fence and show you from that angle. So here's the front garden entry between this little fence that I built earlier in the season. Again, something that wasn't here going into last winter. A lot of the other things that have been added for winter interest is there's a few conifers, and I'm going to do a video soon on all the conifers that have been added to the landscape. And I have some new miniature conifers that are going into containers for the winter, so you'll see that video coming up. The entryway here was redone with some dianthus for the winter time, and they don't look like much now, but there's red and white dianthus that will bloom during the winter time. The big highlight of the garden here going into this first frost is this Mexican sage. Is just putting on a big giant show. A little further down, there's still some lots and lots of salvia here in bloom. You see this one. This will get knocked down here in the next few days. But again, there's been some things underplanting it going into this winter that will it won't look bare this time. If we come around and come into the front gate here, I've shown this Caryopteris several times now, and it's still in flower, and it'll probably last through a minor frost. It'll still have color on it, still have some pollinators on it every afternoon. I'm a little late in the afternoon, and most of the bees have left, but these things were covered in them during the day, right up here until the beginning of November. Other annuals have gone in along the edge of the bed, some ornamental kale, pansies, snapdragons. One of the great things about a garden in November is you get to anticipate next year. And so, there are buds all over, like this evergreen dogwood. And I'll show you a few more things here as we go around, where you get to anticipate next spring, the garden for next spring. There's, again, along the bed edge, all the pansies have been put into place. Camellias sasanqua time. If we look back in to this little corner here, you see the Camellias sasanquas are in bloom. That red one in the back is called Crimson and Clover. You will likely have seen a video with that one in it before you see this video. And again, those are evergreen shrubs, and so as this other stuff is going to sleep, this will continue to be nice through the winter. This is my last day with my aloe out here in the garden. This has to go in the house, but it's been blooming for a week or two now. This when the nights get cooler, you have all this foliage all season long, but as the nights get cooler in the fall, this is when they bud up. And I'll leave them out as long as possible, because as long as it's cool like this and not freezing, we continue to get flower spikes. But now it'll have to go in the house tomorrow. Again, the front border space here along the lawn, there's lots of pansies have been planted. I've got this the lantana still in November. flowering. It's a little late for lantana to be flowering, but it is. I got an agapanthus that's still flowering. Definitely late for agapanthus, but that ever sapphire is that variety, and it really puts on a show. That beautiful dark purple. African basil here is going to come out in the next day or two. This is going to get definitely any minor frost will knock this to the ground, so that's coming out. And again, here's another salvia, still blooming. Bees are still on it, all the way up until November. But there's the kind of the front garden space around the front lawn. So this little path that goes around to the south side of the house has some very interesting things. Here's another salvia that's still in full bloom. Again, this is we're right at the beginning of the November. I've got this hardy begonia that I've shown several times now, but we've gone from just having the beautiful foliage like this to having it flower. And now behind the flowers, it's at this really super interesting seed pod. And even it's decorative. Just what a beautiful plant. And that plant's been doing that all season. And it's zone 7. It's a zone 7 hardy. Pineapple sage, this golden pineapple sage, how can you beat this? It doesn't bloom until fall, so it builds this in anticipation with this gold foliage all season, and then it has the red flowers. This one isn't quite hardy in my area. It's big and very established, and it's up here near the house, and maybe it'll come back and maybe it won't. But I bought this as a little quart pot that was only, $4 or something. So that's a lot of mileage out of $4 for this year. So if it doesn't come back, I'm not going to feel too bad about it, and I can find another one in the spring. The cestrum is still blooming amazingly all the way here to December. It's about done at this point, but it's amazing how long this plant actually blooms. My Chinese sweet box. This is. I got 2 more examples here of this. One thing I love about this time of fall is we start to see the flower buds for spring, and so this sweet box has kind of insignificant flowers that open along the stems here in the late winter, very, very early spring, but they're super, super fragrant. And so, this thing builds anticipation here for a couple months leading up to that. And then my Edgeworthia is doing the same thing. This was a little teeny tiny plant when I did this video, and now this plant's really grown like a weed here in this spot. The things behind it are actually coming out. There's other things going behind it, so it looks a little out of place right now, but it won't be for long. And but here, the flower buds are it's all budded up and ready to flower, and when we come out of the other side of winter, those will start to open up as the soil temperature warms up. So this is a little further around that south side, heading out into the back garden space. Right here at the beginning of November, still have impatiens flowering, but we're one frost away from those being gone. I've still got some fall anemones flowering right now that look beautiful. Ageratum still flowering. Those things are about to get knocked back. There's a few pansies and some other things going along this walkway for the winter. That's the last spot to be planted, actually. Everything else has gone in, as you'll see in just a minute. I love this angle back into the garden because you have the path aligns with the turf, and you can see way out in there. But then along this edge, we have the pinks and the whites and the gold foliage of the sunshine ligustrum, and you have the purple behind that with the loropetalum, and I just think it's just really created a nice entry into this back garden space. Further out in here, one thing I need to show actually before I move too far away here is that the tree form Encore azalea is blooming right now. It's actually got a lot of flower buds on it, and a minor frost just won't hurt that thing at all. It'll continue to bloom here for a couple more weeks. After our frost chance tomorrow night, I think we're supposed to go back to the 70s, so that thing will still be blooming probably a month from now. I like to line the turf with annual flowering things, and so a lot of the summer flowering things have come out. There were pentas in this spot that were this tall 2 days ago, and now pansies have gone in their place, so it doesn't look a whole lot now, but it will. They'll get to jumping pretty quick, and by March and April, that'll be beautiful. This kind of overgrown Grand Cascade butterfly bush is going to go a little further back in the bed, and you'll see a video for that very soon, transplanting a butterfly bush, but it'll apply to transplanting anything that you need to transplant if you need to learn that. And again, along this bed edge, all the summer annuals have been torn out, except for, again, salvias continue to bloom, and pansies have gone in their place as we go around that way. And it's uncovered. What's interesting is all summer I had all this border covered in flowering things, and now here we are a year along in this landscape. When this stuff gets transferred over, this Everillo Carex is beautiful back here. This Sunshine Daydream Loropetalum is beautiful back here. This Miss Lemon Abelia is beautiful. These azaleas are starting to flower. You see how now there are elements in this landscape that will stand up to the changes during the season, you know, where we have seasonal change. Again, last winter this place was still bare because it was just such a new landscape. So again, one of the things I'm building in this video is anticipation of spring, and nothing does that better than a deciduous azalea or native azaleas. This azalea is about to lose its leaves, but the buds are on it right now. This is where all the flowers will originate in the spring. And so again, this is another one of those plants that will build anticipation as we head into the new year, and those will just swell and swell and swell, and it'll be April when they flower. This Farfugium has been blooming for a while, and it's about to pass peak bloom now. My other one is about to flower. This is one of those plants that's amazingly cold hardy, and a minor frost won't even slow it down. A hard freeze, I might consider protecting this one a little further down. I'll show you that in a minute, but a minor frost, no big deal. This is Marvel Mahonia, and you can see all the flower buds coming on it right here. This will be a giant cluster of yellow flowers in probably February, depending on how warm the nights are. If we get some warm nights in January, it could start even then. But you can see all of these are starting now. Again, another one that's building some of that anticipation for later in the year, and then or the beginning of next year. Here's my other Farfugium, and the flowers have almost reached the top of the plant at this point. They're right there. There'll be beautiful yellow flowers on it, but it's going to be another week or two when that's happening. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see when that one is in full flower. One other thing I should say before I move on. Here's a early wonder camellia. I definitely shouldn't shoot a tour video without showing you this. This is a Camellia japonica that happens to bloom in the fall, and it's kind of a formal double. Really beautiful. Really beautiful. You'll see the difference on a flower that has opened on a slightly warmer time, and then the one that you were looking at back over here, which has had a little bit more a few more cool nights on it, that it's slightly darker. You'll see that in a lot of camellia varieties. One other thing I want to point out about where these pansies and snapdragons have been planted over here is there's also garlic that's been planted in this space. Just thumb down into the ground. Garlic's pretty easy to grow, and these spaces where I've worked on them by adding compost and some bark, garlic does exceptionally well in those spaces. It's about 8 months before you harvest it, but if you follow along with the channel, you'll see that. There's still lots, again, salvia is still blooming like crazy. One thing I'd like to point out is this Plectranthus, this Mona purple Plectranthus. It's about finished now, but that thing has put on a show all fall long. This is an annual for me. Down further south it is a perennial, but up here it's an annual, and I highly recommend, if you can find Mona purple, Plectranthus, or Mona blue in the spring. You can get this, it'll bloom well on cool nights in the spring, then it'll kind of shut down in the summer, get itself really established, and then in the fall it's beautiful, beautiful, better than any mum you would ever buy, honestly, and it blooms for months. But that's super interesting. This side has been dahlias all season long, and they're about to get knocked back. This section right here is my seedling dahlias, and one thing I'd like to show you here is a flower that just finished, okay, but it hasn't had long enough to fully set seeds yet. So I can't get any seeds out of this one, but you can see this flower head right here. If I pull this off, these seeds inside of here have completely matured, okay? And I'll open that up for you so you can see. So you can see that. All of these are seeds in these little papery things. This thing was obviously designed to allow the wind to blow the seeds around, but there's the seed right there. And it's just in that little papery part. These germinate pretty readily. And so I'll go through here and collect these seeds just like this, and I'll store them in a container sometime around the 1st of February, maybe mid-February. I'll stick the little jar I have these seeds into the refrigerator, and I'll give them a little bit of cold treatment for about 4 or 5 weeks, and then these seeds can just be seeded out in trays under my lights in the house, or they could be done outside a little bit later. They germinate readily. I don't know what colors they'll be. This plant may have been white or pink or whatever it was, but it cross-pollinated with the other ones around it. So it will be some variation of or combination of the colors I have, which is kind of exciting on these seedling dahlias like this. If I wanted to save the tubers, I'm in zone 7. If I wanted to save the tubers, I probably need to dig them up. It depends on my winter. They may come back for me, maybe not. If you're in zone 8 and 9, you can just leave them in the ground. But in colder areas, we do have to dig the tubers up. I'm just going to let these seedling dahlias die to the ground. I'm not going to worry about it. Some will come back, some won't. But I'll have the seed for next year to do some more on my own. And you can see the vegetable garden back here. If you've been following along with the channel, the vegetable garden looks fantastic right now. I need to be harvesting more lettuce right now, honestly, and giving some of it away. I have so much of it right now. But there you go. There's a brief tour of the landscape here in Raleigh, North Carolina, Zone 7B. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for following along.